I used to think my neighbor was just that quiet guy. You know the type. Mid-40s, always polite, never really talks, keeps his curtains half drawn like he's permanently undecided about sunlight. We'd nod at each other when taking out the trash. That was the extent of it. Then one night at around 2:30 a.m., I heard knocking. Not on my door, on the wall. 3 slow knocks. Pause. 3 more. At first I figured it was pipes or something. Old building, weird noises. I ignored it. Then it happened again the next night. Same time, same pattern. Knock, 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 pause, knock, knock, knock. I'll admit, I got curious, so on the third night, when it started again, I knocked back. Just once. Silence. Then, knock, 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 pause, knock, knock, knock. Exactly the same pattern. At this point, I'm half amused, half unsettled, so I grab my phone, open a notes app, and start timing it. The pauses were consistent. Like, precise. Almost mechanical. The next morning, I caught my neighbor in the hallway. I said, "Hey, weird question. Do you hear knocking at night?" He froze. Not like thinking about it froze, like full-on statue. Then he said, very carefully, "You shouldn't answer it." I laughed because, what else do you do? Answer what? I asked. He just shook his head and walked away. Cool, great, totally normal human interaction. That night I did not plan on engaging. I put on headphones, watched YouTube, tried to ignore it. 2:30 a.m., knock, 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 pause, knock, knock, knock. Except this time, it wasn't coming from the wall. It was coming from my front door. I muted everything and just sat there, staring. It happened again, slow, deliberate, knock, knock, knock. I checked my phone. No notifications, no doorbell camera alert. It's a cheap one, but still. I opened the live feed anyway. Nothing. Empty hallway, then knock, knock, knock right behind the door. I don't know why I did this, but I walked over and looked through the peephole. No one there. But as I stood there, frozen, I heard it again. From the other side of the door, and then from inside my apartment, right behind me, knock, knock, knock. I spun around so fast I almost fell. My living room was empty. Everything exactly where it should be, except for one thing. My bedroom door was open. I always close it before bed. Always. I didn't move for a solid minute, just stood there listening. Nothing, no more knocking. Eventually, I worked up the nerve to check the bedroom. Nothing there either. Closet empty, windows locked. I barely slept. The next morning, I went straight to my neighbor's door and knocked. No answer. I tried again that evening. Nothing. On the third day, I asked the landlord about him. She looked confused and said, "That unit's been empty for months." I told her that was impossible. I'd seen him, talked to him. She went quiet, then said, "The last tenant left suddenly. Didn't say where he was going, just gone." I didn't love the way she said gone. So yeah, I don't knock back anymore. But sometimes at 2:30 a.m. I still hear it. Knock, 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 pause, knock, knock, knock. And last night, for the first time, I heard it from inside the walls again, closer than before, like it's figuring out the layout.